Hello everyone and welcome back to the Ryan Retro channel. In today's video we're going to be looking at the Retroid Pocket Flip 2 and we're going to look at Eden, a brand new secret console emulator that just released a few days ago. As you can see, right across the top of the app is this huge warning, pre-alpha software, which tries to let you know you shouldn't get your hopes up too high as this is a brand new, very immature application and things are not going to work perfectly. So how is this different to other forks of Yuzu? Well, if we come into the settings here, you'll see a very familiar setup. But if we go into advanced settings, we have something called Eden's Veil, which says it takes you beyond default settings. Here we have a lot of things we can play with, and I am not yet sure what are the best settings to use, so I'm just toggling on all of them to see how things go. We also have VRAM usage mode, and I'm going to change it from conservative to aggressive to see if that helps in any games as well. I did also read this very helpful message from Trixarian, a developer of Nether SX2, that you should change extended dynamic state from 2 to 0 if you're using a Snapdragon 865 device like the Flip 2 or the Retroid Pocket 5. So make sure you change this to 0, which should help in a lot of cases. For this video, I'm using the latest Mesa Turnip driver 25.2.0 R4 Fix. If you've watched my content before, you'll know I absolutely swear by the 9v2 driver, so if in doubt, try that out. And one feature I'm really enjoying about this so far, if we tap these three lines up here, we can arrange our games by recently played. And by doing this, you'll only see the games you've actually been playing and testing within the app so far. So if you have a huge game list, this is a quick way to just jump into a few games you'd like to test. And the games I've been testing so far are ones that don't really work well on the Retroid Pocket 5 or Flip 2, like my time at Sandrock, FIFA 25, they just don't load, and it's still the case here, unfortunately. Assassin's Creed is very hit and miss depending on drivers as well, and so far I can't get it to run here. Ni no Kunai needs a very special firmware, I believe it's 17.0 or 17.0.1, and a lot of these other games are working pretty nicely, but let's jump into Tears of the Kingdom, one that I find works a lot better with Qualcomm drivers than Turnip drivers, so for this one I will use the built-in 0.746.0 default driver that comes with the Flip 2. This is the very beginning of the tutorial beneath Hyrule Castle, and while cutscenes are looking pretty good at a solid 30 frames per second, when I move the camera, you're going to see a lot of flickering lights, which really don't look very good. And unfortunately, this is the exact same behavior I saw before using Citrin on the Retroid Pocket 5. So there doesn't seem to be any noticeable improvement in this game here with this driver configuration. And when trying to use a Turnip driver with this, it unfortunately just crashes every time. I have seen the developers of Eden mention Tears of the Kingdom specifically a few times, so this may be one to keep your eye on as they are trying to work on this. Here we are in The Witcher 3, a game I found really difficult to run on the Retroid Pocket 5 or Flip 2. It's a game that runs noticeably better on the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 of the Odin 2 Portal, one that really makes use of that extra power. Here it's quite difficult to get a stable frame rate. I do have a frame counter at the top left of the screen there, although that's probably quite difficult to see, so let me bring in a larger frame counter for you to see. Here is the frames per second here, and you're going to see it fluctuate quite a little bit. At certain times we do manage to hit 30 frames per second, but they're quite few and far between. We're usually hovering around 15. Once again, this is using the latest Turnip driver, but I found the drivers don't really make too much of a difference here. It's a game that looks absolutely beautiful, especially on this really clear and crisp screen. So if we could get a solid 30 frames per second out of this, this would be one of the absolute best games to play on this device, in my opinion. I just tried to double tap the A button to gallop with the horse. The last time I tried that before filming this video today, it crashed the game, and it just did it once again. So it seems we cannot gallop yet without crashing the game. I guess with pre-alpha software like this, you shouldn't try to run before you can walk. Games that were already running well before on Citrin and Yuzu are still working great here as well, like FIFA 18. But we still unfortunately also have the exact same glitches, where we have no radar at the bottom of the screen and no icons above our players' heads. A lot of the talk around Eden so far has been related to Mario Kart 8, a game that's been really tricky to run on these emulators so far. One that can often crash not only the app, but can hard crash your whole device. Something that's happened to me and many people in the community so many times at this point. That's why if you check my compatibility spreadsheet for this game, the notes section is often really long because it requires a very specific setup. So it's a game the Eden team are working really hard on optimizing. I tested this game out yesterday in order to make this video using that new turnip driver. Usually in this game what happens is that when you play a race that's a series of 3, you can get through the first race, but it will then hard crash loading the second race. When I tried this with Eden, I was really happy because not only did I complete the first race, but I loaded completely fine into the second race, which really got my hopes up. But unfortunately, when I finished the second race, it hard crashed my device and the handheld restarted itself, so that issue unfortunately is still there. Qualcomm drivers are recommended for this game to help stop the crashing, so with nothing else changed except using the Qualcomm driver in Eden and all of the Eden Vale settings turned on, let's give it one more try. Launching into the game, we get the Select a Me problem, which is usually caused by having older firmware. This is Eden pre-alpha version 2, and I did hear that they fixed this problem, but it doesn't seem to be the case. It seems that I am going to have to install firmware to get past this screen. So I'll come into the settings of the app, come here to Manage Eden Data, and where it says Install Firmware, we're going to navigate to where we saved our firmware. I have version 17.0.1, which I'm specifically using for Ni no Kunai. We have 19 and we have 19.0.1. Let's try 17.0.1, because if that works, it also means we can try out Ni no Kunai as well. Now we do have the Select a Me screen, and we can just select one of the pre-configured ones. Let's jump into a game, and now is the moment of truth to see if we can get through 3 races. And one more thing I'm going to look out for is if the glider appears, because when I tested this game before in one of my previous videos, the glider was always invisible. During yesterday's test using the turnip driver inside Eden, it was visible for the first time, which really got my hopes up. But as I said before, once I finished the second race, I got a hard system crash. So let's try again now with the default Qualcomm drivers, which are recommended for this game. The frame rate is fluctuating quite a lot, which does usually happen with this game as it compiles shaders. It's a game we should be able to get a solid 60 frames per second in once we've completed a lap or 2, so Eden is able to compile those shaders of what the race course looks like. We do seem to have a glider, so that's great news. Of all of the games that I test for this channel, this is the one that makes me feel the most nervous while I'm testing it, because I'm waiting not only for the game to crash, but for it to hard crash my whole device, which is always a little bit worrying. Let's see one more time if we can see that glider or not. I'm not actually sure if I can see it or if it's invisible, because I did pick a black glider, which I'm now really regretting. So let's now go to race number 2 and see if we get any issues, if we can complete the race, or if it's going to hard crash. Oh, we do seem to be loading in, so that's a positive start. We do usually get some big frame drops when we go into the water for the first time. That's completely normal. And again, that should even out after we build some more shader cache. Here we come up to the end of the second race. Let's see if we crash like we did on the turnip drivers or not. Well, this is very, very worrying. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you, Eden. We are loading into the third race. This is actually a first for me. Using firmware 17.0.1 on the Eden emulator, we made it to the third race. This is a really lovely course. It's my first time actually playing the third course. It's a very nice, soothing experience. I'm just a little bit worried the game's going to crash at any moment, so fingers crossed. Here we come up to the finish line, the moment of truth. Is it too early to get our hopes up? Oh, race number 4 is the final race. I thought there were only 3. Well, it shows what I know. I've never managed to get past the first 2 without crashing. So here we are in what is actually now the final race. Let's see if we can get through this and call this a great Mario Kart Eden success story. I feel that we've compiled most of the shaders now, so the game is running pretty consistently in the mid-50s. It's very smooth and it looks fantastic on this screen. It's a game that was always going to be really nice on these devices, but just had so many issues with running consistently. So if Eden really can fix this game and get it running consistently, it's going to be one of the better games to play on these systems. Here we come up to the finish line now on the very final race of the series. Let's see if we are able to finish it without any crashes and get through the whole thing unscathed. Here we are, here's the Mushroom Cup trophy. It's all mine, Mr. Shy Guy, and no crash whatsoever. Let's just see if we can get back to the main menu now. There we have it. A full series of Mario Kart on Eden with no optimization whatsoever, except just adding that firmware 17.0.1. You're going to have to try other versions for yourself, but we are in fact working, and what the team at Eden claimed does seem to be true. They do seem to have fixed it, at least if you're using Qualcomm drivers. So this is Eden, the new secret console emulator for Android. They've already released 2 versions of the app in just 2 days, so do expect to see me covering this more and more on the channel with future updates, and I hope this video was interesting and helpful. If it was, please give me a like and subscribe if you didn't already. If you'd like to pick up your own Retroid Pocket Flip 2, which I think is probably the best device out there right now, it is incredible, check out my affiliate link in the description to the official Retroid website, where you can pick one up for yourself and help out my channel in the process. Thank you to anybody and everybody who does do that. It's also time for the Game of the Week, and I'm happy to announce that the Game of the Week is finally Dragon Quest VIII, a game that's been in the poll since the very first week, and now on Game 6, our Game of the Week is Dragon Quest VIII, available for the PlayStation 2, the 3DS, Android, and iOS. So pick it up, join in with me. I 100% will be playing this one and updating you throughout the week with how my progress is going. So please jump in, join in, let's play this game together and have a great week of gaming. And if you'd like to vote on next week's Game of the Week, check out my Patreon, which will be linked in the description, where you can cast your vote. Thank you everybody once again for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow for another video. Bye.